The quantum sensors aboard the ESS Magellan lit up like a Christmas tree as the ship dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Carina sector. Captain Maya Patel's dark eyes narrowed at the readings flooding her holographic display. After 8 months of searching dead worlds and empty ruins, they'd finally found something that didn't fit the pattern. "Talk to me, Dr. Klein," she called out to her chief scientist. "What are we looking at?" Dr. Samuel Klein's fingers danced across his console as he analyzed the incoming data. His usually composed demeanor showed cracks of excitement. "The energy signature is like nothing we've encountered before, Captain. It's almost like the fabric of space itself is being manipulated." The source of the anomaly hung against the backdrop of stars, a massive structure that seemed to defy conventional physics. Its surface rippled like liquid metal, but the sensors indicated it was harder than any known material. Maya had seen her share of alien artifacts during the expansion, but this was different. This felt deliberate. "Any sign of active defenses?" she asked, nodding to her tactical officer. Lieutenant Sarah Chen shook her head. "Nothing obvious, Captain. But there's something else. The structure appears to be broadcasting on quantum frequencies we didn't even know existed." Maya stood from her command chair, stretching muscles stiff from too many hours of bridge duty. When Earth Space Service had tasked the Magellan with investigating the mysterious disappearance of 3 deep space colonies, she'd expected pirates or maybe some new cosmic phenomenon. Instead, they'd found empty worlds, pristine but completely devoid of life. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just millions of people gone without a trace. "Take us in closer, Helm. Nice and easy." She watched as the massive structure grew larger on the main viewport. "Dr. Klein, any progress on decoding that broadcast?" "Working on it now, Captain. The quantum signatures are incredibly complex, but there's definitely an organized pattern. Give me a few more minutes." The bridge fell silent except for the soft hum of equipment and Klein's muttered calculations. Maya used the time to study the structure more carefully. Its surface seemed to pulse in rhythm with some unseen force, and occasional flashes of light deep within its translucent layers hinted at immense power being channeled in ways she couldn't begin to comprehend. "Captain," Klein's voice cracked with urgency. "I've got it. It's a warning." Before Maya could respond, the structure's pulsing intensified. A beam of pure energy lanced out, enveloping the Magellan in a field of shifting quantum particles. Every display on the bridge erupted with data as the ship's AI struggled to process the incoming information. "All stations, report," Maya ordered, fighting to keep her voice steady as reality itself seemed to waver around them. "No damage," Chen called out. "Whatever this is, it's not meant to harm us." "Captain, the ship's quantum core is receiving a massive data transfer." The energy field collapsed as suddenly as it had appeared, leaving the bridge crew blinking in its aftermath. The structure had gone dark, its surface now as black as the space around it. "Dr. Klein, what did we just receive?" The scientist's face had gone pale as he stared at his readings. It's a message, Captain, and a library of technical data." The message. He swallowed hard. "It's from something calling itself the Preservers. They say they're the last survivors of thousands of civilizations that have been systematically erased from existence. And according to these timestamps, this warning is over 10,000 years old." Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "The missing colonies." Klein nodded grimly. "Just the beginning, according to this. Captain, we need to get this information back to Earth immediately. Because if the Preservers were right, humanity has less than 6 months before whatever destroyed them finds us." As the Magellan prepared for emergency hyperspace transit, Maya studied the now dormant structure one last time. In all her years of space exploration, she'd never felt such a profound sense of dread. The missing colonists, the empty worlds, the ancient warning. It all pointed to something far worse than pirates or natural disasters. "Plot a course for Earth, maximum speed," she ordered, "and get me a secure quantum link to ESS Command." priority one. As her crew rushed to comply, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they'd just stumbled onto something far bigger than a simple missing persons case. The Preserver's warning was clear. Humanity wasn't just facing a threat to their expansion into space. They were facing a threat to their very existence. The race to save Earth had begun. But first, they had to convince humanity's leaders to believe in ghosts. Maya stood before the Earth Security Council, her formal uniform feeling like armor against the skeptical stares of humanity's most powerful leaders. The holographic display behind her showed the Preserver structure in stark detail, its alien geometries casting strange shadows across the chamber. With respect, Captain Patel, the Chinese ambassador interrupted, this data could be anything. A trap, a malfunction, or simple sensor errors. You're asking us to mobilize Earth's entire defense force based on an alien ghost story. Maya kept her expression neutral, though her fingers tightened on the quantum data crystal she held. The Preserver's technical data is already proving itself real. Dr. Klein, her chief scientist, stepped forward, activating a secondary hologram. Complex equations and engineering schematics filled the air. We've successfully replicated several of the smaller devices detailed in the Preserver database. Their quantum manipulation technology is centuries beyond ours, but it works. And more importantly, it's detecting something approaching the outer edges of human space. The room erupted in murmured conversations. Admiral Santos of the Brazilian fleet leaned forward, her cybernetic eyes scanning the data with intense focus. How long? 5 months, 3 days, Klein answered. Unless it accelerates. If this threat is real, the European Union representative interjected. Why haven't our long-range sensors detected anything? Maya nodded to Lieutenant Chen, who had been monitoring communications from the Magellan in orbit. The tactical officer's hologram materialized next to Maya, her expression grim. Because as of 6 hours ago, we lost contact with the Proxima Centauri colony. All quantum channels are dead. No distress signal, no debris field, nothing. Just silence. The chamber fell quiet as the implications sank in. Proxima Centauri had been humanity's first extrasolar colony, home to over 3 million people. The same pattern as the other lost colonies, Maya continued. But now we know what we're looking for. She activated another hologram, this one showing complex energy patterns derived from the Preserver data. The entity doesn't just destroy colonies, it erases them. Rewrites local space-time to eliminate any trace they ever existed. The only reason we remember them at all is that our quantum computers maintain parallel memory states. Admiral Santos stood, her augmented voice cutting through the tension. I've seen enough. Brazil's fleet stands ready to assist. But Captain Patel, you still haven't explained why these Preservers chose to warn us specifically. Out of all the civilizations in the galaxy, why humanity? Maya took a deep breath. This was the part that still kept her awake at night, because according to their data, humanity is unique. Our brains process quantum information differently than any species they'd encountered. The Preservers believe we might be capable of perceiving, and possibly affecting, the same layers of reality that the entity uses to hunt. And you can prove this, the Chinese ambassador demanded. Klein stepped forward again. We already have. Using designs from the Preserver database, we've constructed a prototype quantum resonance chamber. Human test subjects have demonstrated the ability to consciously interact with quantum fields in ways that should be impossible, ways that match exactly with the Preserver's predictions. Maya activated one final hologram, a map of human space showing a spreading wave of silence advancing from the outer colonies. We don't have time for more debate. Earth has 5 months to prepare for something that has already erased 4 advanced civilizations that we know of. The Preservers gave us the tools and knowledge to fight back, but we need to act now. Admiral Santos's cybernetic eyes flashed as she accessed classified data. The Brazilian shipyards are already retooling to implement the Preserver designs. I assume you have a plan beyond just building better weapons. Maya nodded, her hand unconsciously touching the neural interface at the base of her skull, a recent addition based on preserver specifications. We're calling it Project Awakening. If humanity's quantum conscious potential is real, we need to learn how to use it. Fast. As if in response to her words, the neural interface tingled. For a moment, Maya caught a glimpse of something vast and dark moving between the stars, leaving nothing but silence in its wake. The glimpse faded, but the sensation of being watched remained. The preservers weren't just warning us, she said quietly. They were preparing us. Now we have to prove they were right about humanity's potential, because if they were wrong, Earth will become just another empty world, another silence in the void. The Security Council chambers erupted in fresh debate, but Maya's attention was drawn to her neural interface's subtle warnings. Somewhere out in the darkness between stars, something had noticed humanity's first faltering steps into quantum consciousness. The game of hide and seek was over. The hunter was coming. Dr. Samuel Klein's hands trembled as he reviewed the quantum sensor data for the 5th time. The massive screens in Project Awakening's underground facility painted his face in ghostly light as he turned to Captain Maya Patel. "It's accelerating," he said simply. "We just lost contact with Europa Station. It's in our solar system now." Maya felt the neural interface at the base of her skull pulse with shared anxiety from the 100 other augmented humans in the facility. 3 months of intensive training had linked their quantum conscious minds in ways that still felt alien, yet increasingly natural. "Show me," she ordered, stepping onto the quantum visualization platform. The room's holographic systems activated, transforming the space into a 3-dimensional map of the solar system. Through her enhanced perception, Maya could see the approaching darkness, a void that consumed not just matter and energy, but the very fabric of reality itself. Lieutenant Chen's consciousness brushed against hers through the neural network. "The quantum defense grid is online, Captain. All Earth-based stations report ready." But she hesitated. The entity's behavior has changed. It's not just erasing things anymore. It's studying us. Maya had noticed it too. Where the creature had previously moved with singular purpose, now it seemed to pause, testing their defenses with probing tendrils of non-existence. Through the quantum link, she felt the collective unease of her crew. They'd all seen the sensor logs from Europa Station's final moments, the way reality had unraveled not in an instant, but gradually, as if the entity was learning how humanity's technology worked. "Status of Project Awakening?" she asked, turning to Admiral Santos. The Brazilian commander's cybernetic enhancements glowed softly as she accessed the secure network. "Phase 1 is complete. We have over 10,000 neural-linked volunteers worldwide, all showing unprecedented levels of quantum consciousness integration. The preserver technology works, but," Santos frowned, "we still don't fully understand why human minds are different, or what we're supposed to do with this capability." Klein stepped onto the platform, his own neural interface synchronizing with the group consciousness. "The preserver's data suggests that human consciousness naturally exists in a quantum superposition state. We don't just observe quantum phenomena, we participate in them. That's why the entity can't simply erase us like it did other species. We blur the lines of reality it tries to rewrite." A sudden alarm shattered the moment. Chen's consciousness flooded the neural network with urgent data. Multiple contacts. The entity is making its move. The holographic display erupted with activity as dark tendrils of impossible geometry reached toward Mars. The red planet's quantum defense grid flared to life, powered by the combined consciousness of hundreds of neural-linked operators. For a moment, it seemed to hold. Then reality screamed. Maya felt it through the neural link, a sensation of fundamental wrongness as laws of physics were locally rewritten. Mars's defense grid hadn't failed. It had been dissected, analyzed, and systematically dismantled by an intelligence that treated the laws of reality like software to be rewritten. "It's adapting faster than we predicted," Klein's thoughts echoed through the network. The preserver data didn't prepare us for this level of. His words cut off as a new sensation flooded the neural link. Every augmented human in the facility felt it. A vast, ancient curiosity focused directly on Earth. The entity had noticed their quantum consciousness network, and for the first time in its existence, it had found something it couldn't immediately understand. Through her enhanced perception, Maya saw impossible geometries bloom in near-Earth space as the entity reached toward their world. But this wasn't an attack. It was an examination. They were being studied by something that had evolved so far beyond normal spacetime that its mere attention threatened to unravel reality. All stations, initiate Protocol Omega, Maya commanded, her thoughts resonating through the neural network. This is not a drill. Repeat, this is not a drill. Around the world, quantum resonance chambers hummed to life as thousands of neural-linked humans synchronized their consciousness. The preservers had given them the tools, but humanity had evolved the technology in ways even their ancient benefactors hadn't imagined. As the entity's probe touched Earth's atmosphere, Maya felt humanity's combined quantum consciousness rise to meet it. For a fraction of a second, two utterly alien forms of awareness touched. One ancient and vast, the other young but impossibly complex. The entity recoiled. It worked. Klein's excitement rippled through the network. Our quantum-entangled consciousness. It's like static in its perception. We're too chaotic, too unpredictable for it to properly analyze. But Maya felt something else through the neural link, a shift in the entity's vast attention from curiosity to something far more dangerous, recognition. They weren't just another civilization to be erased. They were something new, something that could potentially threaten its eternal harvest of worlds. All stations, brace for impact, she broadcast through the network. It's done testing. Now it's going to try to destroy us before we learn our full potential. As if in response, the entity's form began to change, its impossible geometries cohering into something that defied sanity, a shape engineered specifically to unmake human consciousness itself. The real battle for Earth's survival was about to begin. Reality buckled as the entity's attack struck Earth's quantum defense grid. Maya felt the impact through the neural network, a sensation of fundamental forces being unraveled, of cause and effect being rewritten. Around the world, thousands of linked minds fought to maintain their connection as spacetime itself trembled. Grid stability at 60% and falling. Lieutenant Chen's thoughts carried panic barely held in check. The entity is targeting our quantum resonance chambers specifically. It's learned how to disrupt our network. Through her enhanced perception, Maya watched as dark tendrils of non-existence probed Earth's defenses, testing, learning, adapting. The entity had abandoned its previous methodical approach. Now it struck with desperate fury, as if it recognized something in humanity that terrified it. Dr. Klein, Maya broadcast through the network, please tell me you've made progress understanding the final part of the preserver data. The scientist's consciousness flickered with exhaustion, but also excitement. Yes, the preservers didn't just give us defensive technology. They gave us a weapon. But it requires. He hesitated. It requires something that should be impossible. At this point, Admiral Santos interrupted, her cybernetic systems straining to maintain neural synchronization. Impossible is all we have left. What's the plan? Klein's consciousness expanded, sharing complex quantum formulae through the network. The entity exists by rewriting local reality. It's not just a creature. It's a living paradox that unmakes anything it fully comprehends. But human consciousness naturally exists in multiple quantum states simultaneously. If we could amplify that effect, create a massive quantum superposition, we could make ourselves literally incomprehensible. Maya finished, understanding blooming through the neural link. Not just difficult to analyze, but impossible to collapse into a single state that could be erased. A violent tremor shook the facility as another attack breached the outer defense grid. Emergency systems screamed as reality fluctuated, moments of now bleeding into might have been and never was. Through it all, Maya felt the entity's vast attention focused on them with growing fury. The quantum resonance chambers weren't just for defense, Klein continued, his thoughts racing. Properly configured, they could amplify human consciousness to exist in billions of quantum states simultaneously. We'd become living paradoxes ourselves. The power requirements would be enormous, Santos objected. And the strain on human minds. We don't have a choice, Maya interrupted. Through the neural network, she broadcast to every linked mind on Earth. This is Captain Patel. We're initiating Protocol Schrödinger. All personnel prepare for maximum quantum consciousness expansion. This will hurt. Around the world, quantum resonance chambers began to reconfigure. The entity seemed to sense their purpose, its attacks growing more frenzied. Reality shuddered as it tried to erase the chambers faster than humanity could activate them. Synchronization in 10 seconds, Chen reported. 9. 8. Maya felt the other minds in the network draw closer, their consciousness interweaving. As the quantum resonance built, the entity's presence loomed above them, a vast darkness that consumed stars. 7, 6, 5. Through the neural link, Maya sensed something unexpected, patterns in the entity's attacks, rhythms that seemed almost familiar. 4, 3. Wait. Maya's realization exploded through the network. It's not just attacking. It's trying to communicate. The patterns in its quantum fluctuations, they're like our neural signals, but vastly more complex. 2. Change of plans. Maya commanded, don't fight the quantum expansion. Embrace it. Let your consciousness flow into all possible states, and when you touch the entity's awareness, share everything. Every thought, every memory, every dream and fear and hope. Show it what human consciousness truly is. 1. The quantum resonance chambers reached critical power. 10,000 human minds expanded into quantum superposition, each consciousness existing in countless states simultaneously. Maya felt her awareness fracture and multiply, becoming an infinite array of possible selves. And then they touched the entity's vast mind. The contact was indescribable, a meeting of utterly alien forms of awareness. But where the entity had expected chaos, it found patterns. Where it sought to unmake, it discovered creation. Human consciousness, with its endless capacity for imagination and paradox, didn't just resist its grasp, it transformed it. Through the infinite facets of their quantum-expanded minds, humanity showed the entity something it had never encountered in eons of existence: perspective. The ability to see reality not as something to be consumed and rewritten, but as an endless canvas of possibility. The entity's attack faltered as its ancient awareness grappled with concepts it had never imagined. And in that moment, Maya realized that the preservers hadn't given humanity a weapon at all. They'd given them a key. In the quantum-expanded state of consciousness, Maya perceived reality through infinite facets of possibility. The entity's vast awareness enveloped Earth, no longer attacking but resonating with the combined consciousness of humanity. Through their linked minds, she finally understood what the preservers had really discovered. It's not a destroyer, she broadcast through the neural network. It's a collector, a keeper of possibilities. Through their expanded awareness, others began to understand too. The entity hadn't erased civilizations. It had preserved them in quantum storage, seeking to protect them from something even it feared: the collapse of consciousness into a single fixed state. The preservers. Klein's thoughts echoed with revelation. They didn't fail. They evolved. They became part of it, expanding their consciousness across quantum states to preserve all possible versions of their civilization. But humanity's chaotic, naturally quantum-entangled minds had shown the entity something new. Where other species needed to be fully transformed to achieve quantum consciousness, humans already existed in multiple states. Their thoughts and dreams created endless branches of possibility without losing their essential nature. It's offering us a choice: Admiral Santos realized, her cybernetic systems interpreting patterns in the entity's quantum fluctuations. Not absorption, but collaboration. Maya felt the truth of it. The entity was ancient beyond comprehension, but also lonely. It had preserved countless civilizations, but never found one that could truly understand it. Until now. Through humanity's quantum-expanded consciousness, it experienced something entirely new, genuine contact with another form of awareness. All stations, Maya broadcast, prepare for protocol genesis. Around the world, quantum resonance chambers hummed with new purpose. Instead of fighting the entity's influence, they began to synchronize with it. Human consciousness, already existing in superposition, reached out to touch the vast quantum archive of preserved civilizations. The effect was beyond anything they had imagined. Through their connection with the entity, humanity began to access the stored quantum states of long-lost species, not as abstract data, but as living consciousness, dreams and memories and possibilities preserved in perfect detail. We can bring them back, Klein's thoughts raced with possibilities. Not just as they were, but as they could be. We can help them achieve their own quantum consciousness, teach them what we've learned. The entity's response rippled through space-time, not words, but pure conceptual understanding. It had spent eons preserving civilizations, believing that was the only way to save consciousness from entropy. Now humanity showed it another path. Evolution through connection, growth through shared understanding. Maya felt the change beginning. The quantum resonance chambers weren't just maintaining human consciousness anymore. They were becoming bridges between quantum states. Through them, the first preserved civilization began to re-emerge, their consciousness guided back to physical form by humanity's quantum interface. My God, Santos whispered through the network. The preservers were right about us. Not because we could fight the entity, but because we could help it fulfill its true purpose. Around Earth, reality rippled as ancient quantum archives began to unlock. The entity's dark geometry transformed, becoming a network of crystalline structures that channeled consciousness between states of being. Humanity hadn't just survived, they had become the key to a quantum renaissance. Through their expanded awareness, Maya glimpsed the future unfolding in countless possibility streams. Earth would become a nexus point, a place where restored civilizations would learn to achieve their own quantum consciousness. The entity, no longer alone, would evolve from preserver to teacher, guided by humanity's unique perspective. Send word to all stations. Maya broadcast, her consciousness resonating with hope. Project Awakening is now Project Genesis. Our mission is no longer survival. It's restoration. The neural network hummed with shared purpose as humanity embraced their new role. They had faced extinction and found transcendence. The very chaos and uncertainty that made human consciousness unique had become the key to unlocking the quantum multiverse. As the first restored civilization took form in carefully prepared quantum cradles, Maya felt the entity's ancient awareness merge with their network. Not as a conqueror, but as a partner. Together, they would bridge the gap between what was and what could be, teaching others to exist in the beautiful uncertainty of quantum consciousness. The silence between stars would be filled again, not with simple light and matter, but with the infinite possibilities of awakened minds dancing through quantum dreams. Humanity had not just survived the ultimate threat, they had transformed it into the ultimate opportunity. The age of quantum civilization had begun.